be a modern Jedi, master my mind for a change.
Hi, and welcome to the next lesson in the Modern Jedi Mind Mastery series. This is how to change a limiting belief with NLP submodalities. If you've been checking out the series so far, essentially this is the next step. We covered an introduction to submodalities in part 1, which was how to stop a food craving. There are, I think, 3 or 4 short little videos in that part. And our next section here is essentially to really kind of explore what beliefs are, because if we're going to change a belief, it would be helpful to know what they are. And then part 3, we're going to run through a real-life example using the changing belief submodalities technique from NLP. In part 4, I'm going to walk you through changing one of your limiting beliefs so that you can get results right now. All right? What are beliefs? Beliefs are internal programs that we use unconsciously to interpret, make sense of, and create our perceptions of the world. You could also say that we use beliefs to create reality. And I'm fond of saying, like, reality, what a concept, man. Dude, whoa. If that's too strong, you could at least understand that beliefs are powerful filters that affect our interpretation of what we call reality. Now here's a more technical definition. It comes from Robert Dilts in his book, Changing Belief Systems with NLP. He says that beliefs are closely held generalizations about cause, about meaning, about boundaries in the world around us, our behavior, our capabilities, our identities. Beliefs function at a different level than concrete reality and serve to guide and interpret our perceptions of reality, often by connecting them to our criteria or value systems. And again, for those of you who aren't familiar with value systems, values are basically what's important to us. Beliefs are notoriously difficult to change through typical rules of logic and rational thinking. And again, that was from Robert Dilts, Changing Belief Systems with NLP, which I highly, highly recommend. It's an excellent book. It's a very well-written book. And it was actually the book that I first read about NLP that enabled me to start putting this stuff into practice myself. Okay, so if we kind of know that what beliefs are, that they're kind of unconscious programs that we use to create reality or to interpret reality, what's a limiting belief? My definition is this. A limiting belief is something you believe about yourself or about the world that stops you from being, doing, or having what you want. And that's really the way I've presented Modern Jedi Mind Mastery, is that it's a set of tools that enable you to be who you want to be, to do what you want to do, and have what you want in your life. Limiting beliefs stop us from doing that. So here's an example. In order to be really successful, you have to be a self-absorbed jerk. Now, this was a belief that I used to have, and it just seemed to me, and I built a bunch of evidence to support this, not that it is or isn't true, but it seemed like every really successful singer-songwriter I knew was a self-absorbed jerk. It just seemed like they had to be always in the spotlight. They loved talking about themselves, and they were just, always had to be the center of attention, and I didn't want to be like that. Now, ultimately, we're all narcissists, and we're all kind of self-absorbed, don't you think? And I realized one day that it's okay to be self-absorbed. But that's a whole story for another day. Anyway, the problem with that belief is that if you believe something like that, it will stop you from being successful because your unconscious mind won't let you become someone who you despise, or won't let you become someone who would violate other values or other beliefs or other programs that you have running. So there's a conflict at the unconscious level. Now you can logically reason it out that, well, of course I want to be successful. That's ridiculous. Lots of great people who are successful without being nasty or stomping on other people. Well, find me some examples of that, and eventually, you might be able to change the belief through just constant repetition. But there's a faster way, because you can say that kind of stuff all you want, but if your unconscious mind believes otherwise, it will always stop you. It just will, and that's not a belief. That's a fact. So, are you still with me here? Here are some other common limiting beliefs. Are you ready? All right. Any helpless, hopeless, worthless statement you make to yourself or that others have made about you that you accepted indicates a limiting belief. such as, I'm not good with money, I'm not good at math, I'm not good with people, I'm not good with learning. Someone very near and dear to me just said, I'm a slow learner. Statements like, you'll never amount to anything, or saying it to yourself, I will never amount to anything. Things like, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not talented enough. Beliefs like, I'm shy. That was one that I had. And my personal favorite is, no matter what I do, I always end up broke, I always end up fat, I always end up alone, I always end up this, that, or the other thing. All right? And it's usually some negative thing. But what if we change that to, no matter what I do, I always end up rich? I mean, what if you really had that belief, right? That no matter what you did, there was more than enough money coming in. No matter what you did or didn't do. I mean, that's a positive helplessness. No matter what I do, I just keep making more and more money. No matter what I do, I always get what I want. No matter what I do, I always end up happy. So, do you see how it functions? All right. So this one's particularly nasty in its negative form because it contains helplessness and hopelessness, which really leads us to that victim place. It also includes generalizations, distortions, and deletions, which if you have checked in with the NLP communication model, you know that that's one of the things we do. We take the outside world, we generalize it, we distort it, and we delete certain things. And that's a bit of a lesson for another day. Ultimately, limiting beliefs are toxic thinking, toxic thoughts internalized and continually run as programs. And if our thoughts create our reality, oh baby, here we go, and we get what we focus on, if our thoughts create our reality and we get what we focus on, then our beliefs are unconscious programs running in the background that create our reality, or that we use to create our reality. So is that true, or is it just kind of a bunch of New Age stuff? Because you look at any of these books, you look at The Secret, you look at What the Bleep Do We Know, and you'll see these ideas popping up. But they're not new, okay? Henry Ford, a noted New Age thinker, said, if you believe you can, or if you believe you can't, you're right. And I don't know if you listened to my Modern Jedi song, but I worked that into my Modern Jedi song in the break of the song, in the bridge, and so you could say I said it too, all right? Earl Nightingale is pretty famous, and every other business speaker since him has said, whatever you can conceive and believe you can achieve. Pretty much every motivational speaker on the planet has said that. Anyway, that's all well and good, but you see, until neurolinguistic programming, nobody told us how to actually change a belief so that we could stop believing the old limiting beliefs and replace those old programs with beliefs that would enable us to create massive positive results in our lives. So, very short introduction to what limiting beliefs are. Now that you have some idea of what limiting beliefs are, in our next lesson we're going to discover exactly how to change them fast using NLP submodalities. All right, so this is the end of this lesson, and next lesson is coming up. So check it out and pay attention.
I wanna be a modern Jedi, master my mind for a change.